जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुनातिरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Okay. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Chapter 17, text 14. Also short purport. Nayam arhati vaikuntha पादमूलोपसर्पणम् संभावितमति स्तब्ध साधुभिः पर्युपासितम्। नायम् अर्हति वैकुंठ पादमूलोपसर्पणम् संभावितमति स्तब्धः साधुभिः पर्युपासितम्। नायम् अर्हति वैकुंठ पादमूलोपसर्पणम् संभावितमति स्तब्धः साधुभिः पर्युपासितम्। संभावितमति स्तब्ध na, not. Ayam, this. Arhati, deserves. Vaikunthapada upasarpanam, the approaching of the shelter of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. Sambhavitamatihi, considering himself highly esteemed. Stabdaha, impudent. Sadhuvihi, by great saintly persons. Paryupasitam, worshipped. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This verse and purport, verse is being spoken by Parvati Devi. So it has a very grave and heavy tone to it. It's not to be taken lightly. It's a very, very heavy tone. And this is what she's saying. This person is puffed up because of his achievements, thinking, I am the best. He does not deserve to approach the shelter of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet, which are worshipped by all saintly persons, for he is impudent, thinking himself greatly important. Purport. If a devotee thinks that he is very much advanced in devotional service, he is considered puffed up and unfit to sit beneath the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Again, this instruction by Lord Chaitanya is applicable. Trunadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sada harihi. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Unless one is humble and meek, one cannot qualify to sit at the lotus feet of the Lord. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshut Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. It's a very wonderful verse. Oh, before that, Justin, welcome back. We thought you'd never come back from Hawaii back into this cold Chicago. Thank you for coming back. And we're receiving you with this very heavy verse today. A lot of what I might say today will be theoretical, because I don't have realization of what it means to be humble and tolerant. I have no idea. I'm trying something. So be prepared for a highly theoretical, I guess, discussion here. From the verse, there is a direct correlation between humility and access to the Lord's lotus feet. That means humility is the vehicle or the method by which, or the quality by which, one can come close to Krishna's lotus feet. Because Krishna is the absolute humble personality, and humility uh, allows for, it facilitates love to foster. Just as when we want to grow something, you have to provide an environment within which that plant will grow. If, like, for many devotees, except our Tulsi team, most persons who have a Tulsi plant at home, she does very well in spring and summer. As soon as fall and winter comes, or she's standing like the trees in Chicago, no leaves. For some reason, whatever you try to do, and if you see some devotees' homes, they have like these big lights, these stands and humidifier and this and that, and somehow it's very tough because she also needs an environment that will foster her growth. For the matter, any plant, any child, you need to provide a proper environment for the child so that the qualities that we want to see in the child develop can happen. If the parent expects, I want my child to be always smiling and happy and very well behaved, but the home environment is that the husband and wife are always bickering and fighting with each other, and they think all they can tell the child is, you're so dull, you're so stupid. How's the child going to grow? So it's like you need a proper environment. So humility provides that environment in which love for Krishna can grow, can be nourished. Without humility, that love gets crushed. We say um, that love for Krishna is dormant within the heart of every living entity, and by the process of hearing, right? Shravana Adi, beginning with hearing, so hearing and chanting and remembering, etc. Karohe Udaya, from the heart it is awakened. So hearing and chanting, for love to be awakened, that humility is necessary to awaken that love. Therefore, we'll see that all devotees, whether in scripture or in contemporary situations, if when they are humble, they have they have more feelings towards Krishna, and more the feelings towards Krishna, they become more humble. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sanatana Goswami narrates that these two work together. One feeds the other. Humility and love for Krishna. It's but natural. The moment we become even a little bit humble, we have access to Krishna. Without humility, there's no access to Krishna. Externally, one may do all sorts of things. Janmaishwarya Shutashri Edamana Madapuman. Mada means madness. One can become mad with arrogance, with conceit that he belongs to a great family, he has great wealth, he has great education, or he has great physical assets, he is good looking, muscular, really whatever. And such a person, because they feel that these are their assets, that they can rely upon, they are not able to call Krishna's name feelingly. But feeling or calling out Krishna's name feelingly comes when a person understands that akinchana, I really don't own anything. Whatever I have can go away like that. These are just distractions. Akinchana, and Krishna likes akinchana. Krishna is very exclusive. He is inclusive that all living entities are dear to him, but he expects and he asks for exclusive love. Now, in the world, there are many persons who ask for exclusive love. they are insecure. A boyfriend does not like his girlfriend, or a girlfriend does not like a boyfriend or husband, wife, whatever, to pay attention to anyone outside of their other person. This is demanding exclusive love. Our problem is that our love is not exclusive. Our problem is that our love in the material world is highly distributed. Who's the person whose love or affection is distributed to anyone and everyone? No, in the material world. A person who says, "Oh, I'm here to give you pleasure and take pleasure from you." Then the next one, then the next one, and the next one. Prostitute. She has no fidelity to anyone particularly. They're called asati. Sati means chaste. Asati means unchaste. Right? So humility makes a person chaste to Krishna. It's a very, very wonderful quality. And therefore Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he instructed that this verse should become a constant meditation and practice. Trinadapi sunichena. Now, a blade of grass or straw is already considered very low. But the interesting thing is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't accept that as a standard. He doesn't say, like a straw on the street. He says, Trinada api, even more than a straw on the street. So he has a very, very high standard. Tarur iva stahishnuna. The tree is considered the most tolerant. He says, more tolerant than a tree. If you can get to being tolerant like a tree, that would be fantastic. But he says, more tolerant than a tree. And amanina, mana is this prestige, false prestige. I am something, man. Someone should acknowledge I am something. That means I should receive some respect, some honor. If nothing else, at least my presence should be acknowledged that I exist. Come on. What am I? Chopped cabbage? And manadena, to always respect others. In the material world, uh, respect is a quality that is exchanged only when one receives it. If I receive respect, I don't mind respecting others. No problem. Isn't that how it should be? You respect me, I respect you. What's the problem? That's how it should be. No, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, even if you don't receive any respect, you should respect others. Even if you're not acknowledged by others, you should step up and acknowledge others' presence. Uh, even if you're not served by anyone, you should serve others. Because that is that is what Krishna notices. Right? One of the instructions of Bhakti Siddhanta is, do not try to act in a way that you want to see Krishna, but you should act in a way that Krishna would want to see you. So that's uh, that's the instruction we have been given. We need to do something by which it will attract Krishna's attention. Just coming in front of him and saying, Haribo, I'm here. He doesn't have to pay attention. It doesn't attract his attention. So the two sides are given. If a devotee thinks of himself advanced in devotional service, he is considered puffed up and unfit to sit beneath the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Here it's called Sambhavita Matihi. Sambhavita Mati, considering himself highly esteemed. I could take this in different directions, but I thought it would be nice to discuss the Trinadapi Sunichena verse a little bit too. Um, so, humility has different, I should say, facets or characteristics. Now we're talking of humility in relation to Krishna. Humility not in relation to Krishna is not considered humility. It's just a shadow of it. So humility in relation to Krishna means that a person acknowledges that I am a servant of Krishna, and that I am a servant of Krishna attitude is not vibrant when everything is going on very nicely. All the devotees are happy with me. Prasadam is fantastic. I can lead nice kirtans. I can give nice class. All that. I no problem being a servant of Krishna. But being a servant of Krishna when everything is going wrong, according to us, that is the genuine test of humility. That I am a servant of Krishna. So that's one aspect. Another aspect of humility, sometimes we feel very humble. And the test for that is our humility should impel us to serving Krishna. Our humility should impel us in the direction of Krishna. Sometimes the so-called humility moves us away from Krishna. Oh, I am so rotten. I'm so that I cannot come to the temple anymore. I'm so rotten that I'm not qualified to do this service, so I will not do it. Whatever. Our acharyas have never expressed like that. They've expressed, I'm very fallen, I have absolutely no qualification, but by the order of the spiritual master, with that on my head, I'm trying, because that order will carry me forward. On my own, I won't be able to do it. It's the order of the Guru that can catapult me to anything, doing anything. Mukam karoti vachalam. That a person who is dumb can speak very eloquently. Pangu langhayate girim. A person who is lame or crippled can cross over mountains. Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. The mercy of the Guru has such potency, it can make anyone do anything. Conviction in that is humility. On the other hand, yeah, I can do it, is not humility. So connected to that, then, humility is felt when one understands that one is helpless. This helplessness is a very, very helpful feature. Helplessness. Are there situations in which there are devotees who feel helpless? For example, Gajendra, great elephant, very powerful. He had the strength to fight the crocodile for 1,000 celestial years. And until then, nothing happened, right? He kept on fighting and fighting and fighting. The crocodile became stronger and stronger. He became weaker and weaker until he realized, whoa, I'm helpless. Oh, Krishna, please help me. Or in the case of Draupadi, when Dushasana was disrobing her, it's described that she first held the sari with both her hands. And Dushasana has the strength of 1,000 elephants. Okay, we don't know what it means, right? 1,000 elephants. But wow, that must be a lot. So he was pulling her sari off, but she was holding it. And after some time, she realized that his strength is overpowering, overbearing. So then, in desperation, she holds the sari between her teeth, as if that is necessarily stronger. But it's her desperation. But when she realized, whoa, it's not going to work, she raised her hands and said, my dear Krishna, I'm helpless right now. And that is when Krishna intervened. So feeling helpless. Now, No one's disrobing us. There's no crocodile gnawing at our foot. But there are times, but every day we should feel helpless. The fact that to chant our 16 rounds, the order is to chant attentively. Do we need help? Oh, definitely. Definitely. We need help for everything. Everything. We need Krishna's help. Once Vaisheshika Prabhu, at one of our North America meetings, he was talking about how a devotee should call out during japa that Hare Krishna means, my dear Krishna, I need help. So he made everyone go, Krishna, I need help. I need help. I need help. So to touch the heart that when we are chanting, that's what we are asking Krishna. I really need your help. Because this energy of yours, this material energy, by the way, she's speaking. She has got me trapped like anything. The grip of the material energy on me is so strong that I cannot undo that grip on my own. Please help me. This is humility. As long as one thinks, yeah, I can do it. No, no problem. There have been many great persons who've been able to do it. I shall also. So, a feature of helplessness is I need help or feeling helpless. Another feature of humility is given in the rest of the verse that one has a genuine service attitude towards others. Because a blade of grass or a straw on the street is allows others to use him or it. So a genuine service attitude. Sometimes we see that people have great service attitude towards their guru, but to the other devotees, it's okay. Bhakta, it's okay. I'm only supposed to serve Uttamadhikaris or something, some such conception, which by the way is true. We should serve Uttamadhikari, but it doesn't mean that others are not there. Others don't exist. It's not a very, with our blinders on. I only see my guru. Everyone else is guru. In Bengali, guru means cow. Prabhupada would say, "You want guru, but you treat me like guru." It's not guru. You have guru. So it generally has a service attitude towards everyone and everything. But along with that is that devotee doesn't take any service from others. So now this poses a challenge. Rupa Goswami says, Dadati pratigranati. You have to give and take. Guhyamakhyati prichhati. Bhunkte bhojayate. So taking is very much required to develop loving relationship. Suppose we all want to give someone something, and they heard the class that humility means only giving and not taking. Say, no, Prabhu, I cannot take. No, no, take this chapati. No, 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 I cannot take. What happens? It doesn't foster loving relationships. So, serving others also means to take in a service attitude. Oh, thank you for expressing, you're giving me something. I will accept it. Because Krishna will be pleased when I accept it from you. That is my service to you. That I allow you to serve Krishna. While when I serve, please accept it. It's very important that receiving is also an act of service. We shouldn't even for a moment think, oh, because I am receiving it, I am not serving. If such a thing comes up, then yeah, we've lost the opportunity for service. But receiving is also done in a service mode. Thank you. I'll use what you're giving in Krishna's service. Or whatever they're giving. Advice, prasadam, some facility, something. Their friendship. some material thing, I'll use it in Krishna's service. Then Tarur, then there are more for humility, but Tarah, Tarur means tree, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says Tarur api Sahishnuna. Sahishnuna means to tolerate. So the first thing that the tree does is that it tolerates insults. It tolerates being treated in a very, uh, I would say, disrespectful way. People urinate on a tree. At least in, I don't know if in America, I'm sure they do. It's just you don't see it, but in India you see it all the time. Or they will come rest their back against a tree, or kick a tree. Uh, Jake loves Sally. They'll etch something on it on the trunk, whatever. The tree is tolerant. That means the first thing in tolerance has these characteristics. One is that it doesn't defend. The reason people defend themselves is because they have to be right, or uh, it's not okay to. Of course, when necessary, even Krishna defended himself. That's there. There is room for it, but it's the false ego that gets pinched. So the first thing is to defend, right? One of the basic things uh, in the material world is eating, sleeping, mating, and we know among defending. Yes, uh, of these four, which is the strongest? Defending. Although we say mating is, but defending is the strongest. Why? If you're mating and there's fire in the house, you'll defend your life first. Right? There's this, because defense is a very, very strong uh, urge. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hitting that one. Don't defend yourself. If asked, then you can say, others don't defend. I mean, this is a complex topic. I'm definitely oversimplifying it, so please try to understand. Because when to defend, when not to defend, when is it defense, when is it just clarification? You can get into this conversation, and our heads can spin for about 4 hours. But get the idea. In general, we have a defensive nature. Check if you like. One of the assignments for today, if you like, is check during the day. Let's check and come back as to when our defense mechanism turns on. By the way, it's always on. Is it when do we recognize it? It's always there. Simple thing. We feel cold, we put on a shawl. That's a defense mechanism. Because the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order is not don't wrap yourself, and that's not the point. Wrapping ourselves and keeping warm can also be done in a mode of service. That if I preserve my body, I can serve Krishna. But the warmth of a blanket, that's different. You understand? So defense works, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying the first thing is don't get into that. Another about a tree is that a tree gives service without discrimination. It doesn't say, I will give shade to the Brahmin but not to the Shudra. It has the characteristic that it serves. So now, the other day we were discussing that a Madhyama Adhikari is supposed to discriminate. Prema, Maitri, Kripa, and Upeksha. He has to have love for Krishna, friendships with the devotees, compassion towards the innocent, and a little safe distance from the envious. So how does that relate to being a tree, where it gives everyone shade? Ideas, it doesn't carry animosity or doesn't carry undue affection in a biased way, is neutral. So keeping envious people at a distance is part of our neutrality. That why mess with their mind and why get my mind messed up? This is neutrality. One is neutral. The tendency in the material consciousness or sphere of thinking is that we very quickly align ourselves to friends and against enemies, or to those we feel are ours and versus we feel are they. So this us and them mentality, mine and theirs, friends and enemies, my people, not my people. That's dangerous. So neutrality is as if now generally we don't make such a big distinction between indifference and neutrality. Well, they're quite different. Indifference means I don't care. I don't care for this team. I don't care for this team, or this person or this person. Indifference is not what we're talking. Neutrality. I care for them and I care for them also. I want them to be happy and I want them also to be happy. I want to serve them and I also want to serve them. The difference is neutrality brings a person towards service, indifference takes them out. Or indifference tends to close the heart. Neutrality opens the heart, or keeps the heart open, I should say. Another is the tree gives whatever it can to serve others. So the tree has roots, which are herbs or food for others. Not herb, they're food or medicinal properties in roots, also sometimes fruit. The tree, the trunk provides wood. The branches can have a swing from its branches. It provides firewood. Its leaves are used for medicinal purposes or for any other, to make roofs of houses, other things, for cooking. Then the fruits provides food for others. The leaves, the flowers, etc. The sap from the tree, maple syrup or rubber. Without tires, we cannot do anything in the modern context. Give the rubber for trees and maple syrup for our pancakes. Yeah. Whatever the tree has, it can give for service. So we should consider, what is it? We have gifts from Krishna. And how much can we use? What are the creative ways in which we can use those gifts in the service of others? And so others means, of course, in relation to Krishna. I don't need to keep correcting, being this politically. For others means, what? You're talking of Manav Seva now? I thought we are devotees of. That's just assuming, because the audience is devotees. You understand when I say for service of others means in the service of Krishna. Like that, like a tree. And one of the great qualities of the tree is that it provides the wood for the axe, for the handle of the axe, by which the very tree can be cut down. Now that's a very tough one. That quality was demonstrated by Dronacharya. Of course, all others also, but Dronacharya as well. Dronacharya gave lessons to Drishtadyumna, who was born for the very purpose of killing Dronacharya, because he was a Brahmin. Now that quality Brahmins have. Brahmins will give knowledge even when the other person is inimical to them. So we shouldn't hold back giving, or when we go out for books or Harinam or meet people at the temple or anyone, we shouldn't hold back our realizations. We shouldn't hold back from sharing with others, even if they are not so favorable to us. Generally, we say, what's the point? That word of that mood is in Rishabdev's teachings. You know that verse? Mahat sevam dwaram ahor vimuktehe. That by serving the great persons, the door for liberation opens up. Right? Then, other line is Tamodwaram Yoshitam Sangi Sangam. And if you serve those who are attached to material sense gratification, and those who are attached to such persons, then tamodwara, you open the door for ignorance. And then he says, uh, Mahantaste, these great personalities, samachittaha, their minds are always equipoised. Samachitta, prashanta, they're peaceful. And here's the key word, vimanyava. Vimanyava. Here is the word mana. Mana means prestige. Vimanyava means they're free of this thing that, oh, someone is angry at me, still I'll continue giving them mercy or giving them my friendship. Vimanyava suhruda sadhavo. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that a preacher, I can't remember verbatim, but will not withdraw their mercy because someone is inimical to them. This is a tree-like quality. Now, of course, the order is to become more than that. And we see in the life of Lord Chaitanya, the six Goswamis, they lived by those principles. Constantly, they lived by these principles. We may not be able to discern in their daily activities because we don't have access to their hearts from the externals. But by discussing and by carefully examining and by developing our own humility, we might be able to appreciate something. So it takes one to know one, correct? So our order of business is to be able to appreciate our six Goswamis and Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda and all the wonderful Vaishnavas, unless we are also in the same, I guess, neighborhood, if you will, or in the same category, we won't be able to appreciate it. A few days ago, someone gave class. Was it you or a Charanista who said one should become like fire to appreciate the sun or something? What was that sentence? Oh, yours. Yeah, one cannot become the sun or appreciate the sun unless one has the quality of fire. It takes one to know one. Otherwise, we'll never be able to appreciate what our sadhus, the way they speak and behave, what does it really mean? We can only understand to the extent of our realization. You've heard ever that uh, people say to the spiritual master, I'm sure he was upset with me because, in such a circumstance, I would be very angry. So I'm sure they're angry with me too. Ever felt like that or heard like that, someone speaking? Because we bring someone who's way beyond into our realm of thinking. Just like one who says, oh, how Krishna must be like this. We call it anthropomorphism. We make God very human-like. And in fact, he bewilders because he does also human-like activity. But that's a different topic. But we bring the other person down into our realm of consciousness so we can understand their behavior. Or at least we can't understand, we try to analyze their behavior. And this is a problem because they're on a whole different plane of consciousness. So our only access to these great personalities is that we go to that plane. Okay, we go, of course, progressively, but that's how we appreciate the great acharyas. Now we may say, well, I'm not on that plane of the six Goswamis. How will I, Then someone else has to speak about them. So many of Prabhupada's disciples are there, and they have such wonderful realizations about the Goswamis, about Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya. Then we hear from them, like, wow, isn't that amazing? How they are able to appreciate the Goswamis and the Acharyas. It's very nice. How they are able to appreciate the devotees. So we get a little oral glimpse of, oh, that must be wonderful. And then there is amanina. Amanina means don't become angry at all, or don't let any circumstance hit our pride or anything that by which you think, what? Why not me? And a strong way to become a manina is to focus on the other one, manadena. It doesn't matter. Let me just be busy with serving and respecting others. It's okay, even if others did not respect me. That's fine. Let me see how I can continue serving them and respecting them. Now, respect is not just for human beings, it's for every living being. Now, that's a tough call, right? Generally, we see that we come to Krishna consciousness, and when we look at an ant, we say, "Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare." Because there's a pastime of Srila Prabhupada. There was Prabhupada sitting in his room, and there were a few ants, and Shruti Kirti Prabhu said, Prabhupada, there are some ants. And Prabhupada said, please chant for the poor fellow. So we may say Hare Krishna to the ant, but when it comes to our parents or relatives, demons, sense gratifier, whatever, we completely sort of cast them away. But an ant, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. No, Manadena is for all living entities. Yeah, how you interact, of course, don't take it as a blanket statement, but you get the idea that our respect is for every living entity. You know, we go out to give the holy name, we go out to give books and prasadam, but when we are inside, we say, those karmis. But it's the same karmis we go to say, can you please take this book? Can you please take this prasadam? No way. And interestingly is, until recently, we were right there, right? It's by the grace, Kono Mahajane. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Kono Mahajane. There is some great personality who's a servant of Lord Chaitanya. He helped me with my Durmati, Emona Durmati, my wicked mind. I was wandering here and there with a wicked mind, and some very sweet devotee came and helped me out. And another aspect of Manadena, is this. I heard this nice, I guess, definition of respect, and it's helped me very much. That respect has three features. First is to see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna. This is proper respect. If you don't see anything and everyone as part and parcel of Krishna, you're disrespecting them. How? Because you think that's for me. That is disrespect. Second, that anything, everything, and everyone, every living entity in this world intrinsically has some value. Disrespect is when we don't see value in them. But they have value. What is the value? Recently, Parma Karuna and I were discussing that the jiva is, Krishna says, Ascharyavat uh, Pashyati Enam. Some people say that the soul is very amazing. Why is the soul very amazing? Because he's a part and parcel of Krishna, who's very amazing. Even if he's an atomic particle of Krishna, he's still very amazing. And for that matter, everything in this world is amazing. So that second is that everything, everyone has some intrinsic value. And the third aspect of respect is somehow or the other find out how we can foster that thing or that person's connection with Krishna. It's left to our creativity of how to do it. And when a person has a genuine mood of service, one will know, oh, this is how they can serve Krishna. This is how they can connect to Krishna, directly or indirectly. For example, there are flowers. I'm just going to give one example. The flowers in the garden. Respect for that flower or that plant is, oh, this poor plant is here. Let me take the beautiful flowers and offer it to Kishore Kishori. That's the best way to respect that plant. Disrespect would be, very nice. And that's it, leave it there. Exploit it. Or what do you say, enjoy it. So we are called to string this verse around our neck and try to live like this. So Himanshu has been thinking about and wants to speak on lifestyle. What was that? Lifestyle? Lifestyle changes. That's his topic that he's been thinking about and sharing a little bit here and there. He's been a little miserly, but hopefully he'll share more. But lifestyle changes. This is a lifestyle change. It's a whole new realm of living that we are being invited by and empowered to live by Lord Chaitanya. Okay, any comments, Michael? Go ahead, Michael.
What was my question? What? No, it was something has to do with you were talking about humility before. I thought about this a while ago when I first came here, that you can't really fake humility.
That's right.
Like, let's say you do something that's a little proud, and then you notice you're like, oh, I've been proud, but you're like, oh, I must be humble to admit I'm proud. And then you're like, oh, wait, I must be proud to say I'm humble. And then say, I must be humble to admit I'm proud, and it can go on forever. And I was wondering, and my question comes, like, when does real humility actually sink in?
Very nice question. My answer would be I don't know. Whenever there is, even if it's a flash, like a momentary flash of genuine service, let this be for Krishna's pleasure. We experience that humility, because that is humility. Let this be for Krishna's pleasure is humility. The opposite of that is let this be for my pleasure. So Shukdev Goswami says that even a moment of such consciousness is worth millions of breaths, which otherwise it's very valuable. That little flash that may come, oh, genuinely I want to do something for Krishna. So one of the aspects of that humility is that not advertising it. When we are proud by saying I am humble, then we have an effect, something we experience. What we experience is the burning of the heart. If you carefully note, our heart burns. Burns in the sense that we're not satisfied with it. But if you're genuinely humble, the heart is very satisfied. It is like, oh, I don't need anything else. We may get that as only a flash. That's fine, but that's genuine. And our goal is that it's more than a flash, that it becomes a lifestyle change. But let this be genuinely for Krishna. Whatever it is, let this be genuinely for Krishna. So if someone gives, comes and appreciates us, because the order is manadena, you're supposed to respect others. So when such respect or appreciation comes, we're not meant to shy away from it. We're meant to receive it. Oh, thank you. But this belongs to Krishna though. So let me not hold it. Let me offer it to Krishna. Like that. If you're standing here, someone comes and gives us money. Here's $100. We don't say, oh, thank you for the money. We say, thank you, this is for Krishna. We take the money and give it to Krishna. It's like that. So when appreciation comes, oh, thank you, but this belongs to Krishna. This belongs to the devotees who've trained me, who've said that I should be like this. This belongs to them. Then we feel happy. Does that help? Okay. You have another question or you want to add to this? Because Acharya had this hand up. Okay.
Please forgive me. I don't like to add comments as if there was something missing in your
You
class. It
can.
was so complete. But
Don't worry, you're not.
there was something Sachinanda
I
Maharaj
just
said
have
in
to fill
Mayapur.
time, so you please to add the real nectar now.
This is why I'm apologizing ahead of
No,
time.
no,
But
don't apologize.
Sachinanda Maharaj said this in Mayapur, which is a very beautiful point.
Yeah.
He said, it really for me became the bridge between like the ideal and the reality. He said humility and tolerance is a practice. So when we come across a situation where we fail miserably, which we will, then that's where we're at.
That's
but the
correct.
practice is okay. Let me now apply tolerance.
Right.
And I used to think before I heard this point that when you come across a bad situation and we fail, oh, I'm not humble. But that's
Right.
the reality. Now you have to apply the tolerance and okay, how do I tolerate this situation? How do I show compassion even though I don't want to show compassion? Anyways, it was a nice point that it's a practice.
We often say that in the life of a, let's say, very advanced person, these qualities are their nature. They don't have to think, let me be humble right now. In our case, we have to think, we have to call ourselves to, hey, Prabhu, I'm talking to myself. You need to be humble right now. Just tolerate this for now. Okay? Like that. Don't defend. This is how we practice it. We live it. Thank you for sharing that. Acharya?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. I just wanted to share on the point of tolerance. I had this nice experience where I was thinking about that verse. I was driving, and I was thinking about the humility of a blade of grass, tolerance of a tree. And I saw on the sidewalk there are weeds.
Mm.
And this guy had one of these weed whackers, and he just took it, and he was going all in this little crevice, just getting all these pieces of grass. And I was thinking, this is humility. That, it reminded me of someone like really getting the sauce from the guru. Or someone really getting chastised, not just like a light thing, like stepped on, but just and the grass is flying up in the air. But that humility like that's so exalted that in the face of severe chastisement, not like a small thing, but if you're superior, they have the right to do that. They're training you. So to remain that, who can withstand that? But that's what is the role of a disciple. And Srila Prabhupada would sometimes chastise his disciples so heavy that anyone else would just, mouth wide open, want to leave. But the disciples, he's meant to take that, and that's the mercy ultimately. And the other example I was just thinking in the face of tolerance, just popped in my mind was Lord Jesus Christ, because you're saying how it's just tolerating anything. In the way that he tolerated out of his connection with Krishna, with God, how he just tolerated that situation of being crucified. That's like such a display of that tolerance. And then he said, just let you forgive them. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. My question was on the part of the tree giving wood to the axe, that I noticed some tendency of the false ego where you have some knowledge, some understanding, but false ego is worried that by sharing that, then others will achieve such a great level. There's that. I noticed in myself that it's like a very gross, fear-based contamination that. I'm just wondering if you can comment on that.
Yeah. That was the point of the wood for the axe. Sometimes that also happens. It is easy to get distracted on the path of Krishna consciousness and always look at others and think that, oh, somehow there's a race and I need to get there first. But it's not a race. Each person is charting their own path. It's between the person and Krishna. And even if others become better than us, great. We should come to the, okay, that's fine. Krishna will be pleased that I shared whatever is my realization. Because by sharing, two things happen. One is the realization becomes deeper. And the second is, if it is not clear fully, by speaking, it actually starts crystallizing much better. Because when we think of something, it's different than when we speak it. And speaking is nice. By sharing with someone, they may embellish it even further for our benefit. So it's nice. And whatever that feeling of insecurity is, um, we pray to Krishna, please remove it. It's an obstacle. Our spiritual master uses the example of a pebble in the shoe. You heard that one? Now, if you're walking and there's a little pebble in the shoe, how does it feel? It's a little nuisance. He says these things are like the pebble in the shoe. You can walk, but it's like you notice there's some discomfort. So you have to get rid of that pebble so you can walk nicely. We pray to Krishna. And that's the part of humility. My dear Krishna, I'm helpless. Now, not only am I hopeless, but I'm also helpless. Please help me. I need your help. This thing is holding me back instead of coming to you. Please help me.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for a wonderful class. So this goes along the point of Himanshu's point of tolerating our own faults.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Thank you.
because
I did not mention it, but yes.
Because in the Isha Upanishad, it said one should learn the process of knowledge and action side by side. So that's we could see throughout the Bhagavatams that there are innumerable examples of what we should do and what we shouldn't do. And so Indra is used, probably the most, what we shouldn't do, even though he's a devotee. And in this pastime, King Chitraketu is also used what we should do, and now, what we shouldn't do. So a lot of times in our spiritual life, it may be easy to try to tolerate the faults of others. But as you was mentioning before, worse than the set's desire is the defense. And so Jamunacharya said, whenever I think of set's pleasure, I spit at the thought. But I could, objectively speak for myself, and maybe others can speak for themselves, that, especially in the beginning of our Krishna consciousness, do we ever spit at the thought of, our envy or our pride? And so if we could see personalities, great personalities like Indra, commit mistakes innumerable times and still consider devotee, should we expect for ourselves to, because even to this day, I kind of, sometimes regret things I say, but it may not be as major as in the beginning of our Christian consciousness. But maybe just Christian wants to empower us to, enlighten people of what we shouldn't do. And that's kind of another humble aspect, Christian, whatever you want to do with me, even if you want me to enlighten people of what I shouldn't do, then I should take that. Not that we should defend ourselves. Oh, I'm not proud, you're proud. So can you comment about that a little bit?
Well, at least I've been thinking about Indra, Lord Indra, just because we often use his example is used of all the things one should not do. But in his very long life, Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't chronicle all the wonderful things he's done too. But I'm very sure to being in that position, he's doing some very amazing stuff as well. But the example of Indra is used because in such a coveted position, even if one is like that, how one can get enamored by that position and the problems it causes by becoming enamored like that. So we may not have a position like Indra's, but we have something. Prabhupada said, even a beggar is proud of his penny. Pauper is proud of his penny. It's mine, and they can hold on to it and be cruel with others. And so that's the lesson. Wherever we are, we're little Indras of different magnitude, if you will. Now, our mistake can be enlightenment for others, but that's not a service we're given by Krishna. You be the anti-example for everyone all the time. We're meant to learn from it. This is one thing that actually, we say, separates the men from the boys, if you will, is even if there are many failures, one should not give up. Failures are all right. Hundreds of failures, millions of failures, tens of millions of failures, but never give up. because it has taken so many lifetimes to come to Krishna. Don't give up. Let's not give up. That's the point. Never give up. We may be like this horrible condition for many lives. Fine. But let's not give up. Because once we give up, this is very difficult to come back. So there's always learning. And part of the failures is a lesson that Krishna is telling us. Seek help. Krishna, I'm helpless. I've been thinking about this, so I can speak it. I'm feeling helpless. This morning I was chanting, good, oh, please help me. But even the few moments I could remember, oh, please help me, was nice. But the rest of the time was somewhere. Mind runs away.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciated one of your other points is that if we're envious or proud, we'll never feel satisfied,
Oh.
no satisfaction. So I was kind of thinking, you said we're meant to learn from it, just like not that we should just be content with it, we should meant to learn from it. So I was thinking, Krishna he basically used us of what we shouldn't do as long as we maintain this envious and proud mentality. But then we'll realize, okay, I'm not satisfied. Let me learn from. Let me try to be humble and gracious with others. Then I can be more satisfied. And one last point of the example Prabhupada gave in 930, Apichetsu Duracho, the example, he said, even though the moon has many spots, it doesn't stop its overall illumination. So, yes, there's going to be, spots in our Krishna consciousness, but we shouldn't try to wipe them all. That's in accordance
We
with
have
this
more
verse.
spots than illumination, but there is illumination nevertheless.
So, exactly. So, thank you.
All right, 8:35. Thank you. Anyone else? Any final comments? Okay. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Krishna, Krishna. Good morning. I'm good. A little sleepy. మొహం చూస్తుంటే తెలుస్తుంది